All right, there you go.
All right.
Well, can you say the name of the order of the introductions again?
Yeah, hold on a second. We are live, so.
I realized I wasn't in the email.
All right, guys. Welcome to ATL Sports HQ live show, the show for the fans by the fans. This is episode 4, and in honor of number 4, we bring in a 4th for the first time ever. I'm Bob Lancaster. You can find me all over social media at Bowling Bob.
I'm ATL Phil. You follow me at _ATL Phil on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Justin Hodges. You can find me on Twitter at HodgepodgeHoops.
I'm Derek Clemens. You can follow me on Twitter at DClemens.
All right. You can follow the site at atlsportshq.com and ATL Sports HQ on YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter. Make sure you like and follow our videos. And also, we're still looking for a show name. We want to give you a T-shirt. This is what it looks like. Game Time Radio T-shirt. We want to give you one. So give us a name on Twitter. Shout us out. And like I said, if we choose your name, we'll give you a free shirt. So the theme of this week for Thanksgiving is going to be being thankful. And for this week was not a good week for being thankful, that's for sure. First topic is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. They lose again, this time to the Dallas Cowboys, 22-19, and now await a Thanksgiving night matchup with the New Orleans Saints, who have been absolutely unbelievable lately. So I'm going to shout this one out to Phil real quick. Why, after looking like a complete team against the Redskins, has it all gone downhill since?
Well, it looks like they thought they arrived after the Washington game. They thought they arrived. There was even some players who said in practice that the intensity just wasn't there, and unfortunately, after the Cleveland game, they played a decent game Sunday against Dallas, but they just couldn't get it back together. And now it looks like it's over pretty much. I mean, you have to go into New Orleans now and win to even remotely keep your season alive. Because, I mean, it's over. You have like a 5% chance of making the playoffs at 4-6. And now you got to go into the best team in the league's house, where they always seem to get some home cooking from the referees and everything too. So for all intents and purposes, the season is over.
What you think, Justin? Why has it gone downhill since the Redskins, man?
Well, you got to look at the offense. The game against Washington, they put up 38 points. And in the past 2 games, they've only put up 35 points combined. I think both opposing teams' secondaries have really forced Matt Ryan to throw a lot of underneath routes to prevent long, explosive plays downfield, something that the Redskins were not able to do. It's very disappointing, especially when you look at the prospective rankings of if they had won those 2 games, they would be in playoff positioning with the 5 seed. And it just puts more pain on those losses. It puts more agony on the fact that they were not prepared for the Cleveland game, and that whatever struggles or whatever inabilities to prepare for them, it was the same against Dallas because it was almost the same effort, almost just with a closer game. At this point, it's doomed.
That they went from a 60% chance with a win to a 5% chance with a loss of making the playoff. You essentially have to win out now to even go in. So, what you think, Derek? Why has it gone downhill?
I think they just got comfortable, and I talked about that in previous podcasts. That after that Redskins game, you just can't get comfortable. You have to keep building on and get better every week. And it's just we can't get solid play from both sides of the ball at a consistent basis. And I mean, the offense didn't look, especially last week, the offense didn't look the best against the Cowboys. And then the defense stepped up throughout the first half, but then they fell apart in the second half because they started to get tired, and you could see the inexperience on the field. So, I mean, injuries hurt us a lot, and we still had chances to succeed this season, but we just weren't able to because we weren't able to find the consistent play every week.
But can you keep blaming injuries? I mean, you saw they played the complete game against the Redskins. They had those same injuries before, That's what I don't get, is is people so quick to say, "Oh, this person's hurt, this person's hurt, this person's hurt." But I watched a game, played complete, where they looked like a team that could run to the Super Bowl and be dominating. To now, all of a sudden, Steve Sarkisian's red zone offense is back to the way it was in week 1 and 2, or I'd say more week 1. Week 2 wasn't that bad, but more back towards week 1. I'm really, really disappointed in Bruce Irvin so far. I think he's made Vic Beasley better. Vic Beasley, I think, had a fantastic game on Sunday. He might have been the only one, but it just didn't look like the offense just doesn't flow in anymore. And I think that the loss to the Browns may have had an effect on that too. So
yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you can't just put everything on the injuries because we've had plenty of chances to win games, and we just can't because you already know the Atlanta curse is real.
So. Yeah, Justin, do you think Bruce Irvin's been a disappointment?
Well, I think we may have expected too much of Irvin to begin with. We try to ignore the fact that he was not productive at all with the Oakland Raiders in his time there. I think a lot of us were just expecting to get the Seattle Bruce Irvin back because of the fact that it was Dan Quinn here. But I think the way that Irvin is providing, what he's providing now is more along the lines of what we should have expected. I think fans were just too quick to overreact to think that was a truly season-changing move to make.
That's what I thought, that he seems to be maybe a step behind. So maybe his, not getting used as much with the Raiders might have contributed to the slower start here, but again, if he only comes here and mentors Vic Beasley to properly, rush the quarterback, well, I'd consider that to be a success through any means.
He had a good game Sunday, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is the more Bruce Irvin struggles, the more the Falcons can afford him next year.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So what, if anything, can be done to beat the seemingly unstoppable New Orleans Saints team on Thursday, Derek?
To beat them, we are going to have to score 50 points. I mean, the offense is just going to have to carry us all the way because Drew Brees, I mean, he's looked fantastic like he does every year, and he's going to score points on this defense. And it's in the dome, so yeah, we're going to score about 50 points to even have a chance, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're right now, comparable to the Chiefs' offense, might be the most connected offense. Hard to believe that their offense could be better than their Super Bowl year, but man, they're fun to watch. I mean, I hate to say that, as someone in Atlanta, but their offense is fun to watch and so many weapons. But what do you think, Phil? What do they got to do to beat them?
Got to play a complete 60-minute game, and you have to have the ball last. There's not going to be many stops in this game. You're definitely, like Derek said, you're going to have to go over 50 points. And we have 4 losses this year on the last play of the game. So we're going to have the ball last. I mean, that's pretty much impossible to plan out, but, you got to get some luck. It's going to come down to having some luck. That's the only way you're going to go down to the swamp and beat them in their house.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. What you think, Justin?
Deion Jones has to play. You keep him out in the game against Dallas when he could have been needed on that final drive where they kicked the game-winning field goal. He has to play the entire game today because that's the only reason that you gave him that extra week of rest, to get him fully healthy for a game like this. I mean, adding him back will add a different dynamic to the defense and will make obvious improvements to the defense. But he can't afford to be on a snap restriction. He can't afford to only play limited minutes. He needs to be out there because that is the only chance the defense will have to potentially disrupt this otherwise prolific Saints offense. I mean, Alvin Kamara has
agree with that decision.
14 touchdowns. It's ridiculous. Sorry.
Do y'all agree with that decision to sit him Sunday?
I think I kind of do. I mean, obviously, I want to see him out there, and I think he will make the team better. But I don't want to rush him with him being young. I don't think there's any need to rush him back because we still, like I said, we still could have won. We've had chances to win without them, so I don't think it's necessary to rush him back. But I mean, I do agree with Justin saying, like, if we win this game. then he needs to be on the
agree with that though, because when you lost to the Browns, the game against the Cowboys was an absolute must win. So you have to have all your guys out there. But apparently they know him better than the four of us sitting here and speculating. He may just not have been game ready yet. I mean, it's one thing to go into practice and it's another thing to be game ready. But if I 100% agree with Justin that if he ain't out there on Thursday, we have zero chance of making that happen and win against them, especially with them bringing in Brandon Marshall as yet another weapon, and so you've got Brandon Marshall, Traquan Smith, to go with their already potent stars, and we just don't have the coverage to stop that. I just can't think of anything. Our guy Tushar, he said we have no chance with the defense that we got. So and that honestly, that's how I feel too. I just don't see that. But to me, the thing that's just disappointing me is the inability to hold the home field. I mean, losing games at home is just, when you're already in trouble in the season and considered to be a mediocre team, you got to win the home games if you're going to lose all the road games. So this just doesn't look good for them. So, but
sorry.
No, that's okay. What you got for a score prediction though, Justin?
Well, as Derek said, we may have to score 50. The Saints will put up 40 to 50 points against good defenses. And I mean, they'll be juiced to just stomp us as hard as possible because that's how this rivalry is. I mean, unless the defense turns a new corner and steps up, I mean, I don't know. The way the offense has been the past couple of weeks, as pitiful as the Saints defense can be at times, even though they are an improved unit in the past few weeks. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the offense will be on sync enough to really keep up with that. It may be a game Saints are in the high 40s and the Falcons are in the mid 20s, like something like 48-24. Might honestly be expected for this one, unless a more potent effort comes out of this unit. But it's disappointing because you had this team at home and you should have beaten them at home, and you had this stretch of the season where, regardless of the injuries, most of your games were at home, and now you come into this crucial stretch where you essentially have to win out. You have all division games all on the road. You have to go to Green Bay, and I believe the only home game left is the final game of the season against the 2-8 Cardinals. Mm-hmm. But winning those other 4 games all on the road.
Exactly. All right, Phil, what do you think for score?
52-31.
What you think, Derek?
I'm going to agree with Justin. I mean, I think the Saints are going to put up 40-something points, and then the Falcons are going to be left somewhere in the 20s and end up losing by about 20, 17 points.
Saints defense has been probably the most improved defense in the last 2 weeks too, which is kind of scary. Yet, they've actually been putting up better numbers than the Rams, who people consider to have the best defense. But the Rams have given up more 30-point games this year than the Saints have. So, I think the 50 bomb is about to be dropped on Atlanta. The only thing they can hope for is a turkey coma. So that's pretty much all I got. But going with the theme for the week, though, what are you thankful for when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons, Phil?
The brilliance of Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. They've absolutely had sensational seasons. And it's very sad that it's going to go by the wayside pretty much because this is yet another lost season. How many seasons of Matt Ryan's prime now have we pretty much just squandered and thrown away? I mean, he's getting up there at this point. There's not very many years left.
What are you thankful for, Justin?
Like Bill said, Matt Ryan. This man is the face of this city. He has been for years. He is the most well-established athlete in this city, in my opinion. To come out and do what he has with the little amount of help he has, he's never had a great defense. He's never had an overly great offensive line aside from maybe in 2 or 3 seasons too. And yet he's only missed 2 games throughout his entire career, and they're in his 2nd season, I believe. The consistency is what defines him as a player. His proficiency, his greatness has only been added as the years go on. Even in games where he's had a bit of struggle, I mean, who can play with you lose both starting guards and just have consistent pressure in your face all game long. And he still just flat out gets it done. He won't complain. He'll just continue to lead. And Atlanta, even as Falcons fans may think he's at the end of the road, he stays as healthy. These guys who stay healthy even when they get older can play into their 40s. And Matt Ryan, I think, is on pace to potentially do so, even if it's not as this great of a level. But it's still like his whole season he's arguably been better than his MVP season, and it's just under such difficult circumstances, and you just won't hear a word about it from him. He's just a class A athlete. He's the best we can ask for.
Derek, what are you thankful for, man?
Obviously Matt Ryan, and then Julio Jones. I mean, what they did last week, I mean, they gave us a chance to win, and they always going to give us that chance to win. They score, but then they can't rely on the defense to win. So, I mean, I'm obviously thankful for Matt Ryan and Julio.
You know, I'm thankful for Matt Ryan too. I'm we're gonna make it a clean sweep here, man. I hear so many people all the time badmouth Matt Ryan, and as someone who can honestly say they're not the big Atlanta Falcons fans like you guys are, but someone that watches every game. You know how many teams would take a Matt Ryan on their team to lead them, and just be thankful that you are getting the years, because without Matt Ryan, imagine how worse it would be. But the other thing that I always say to be thankful for too is Matt Bryant. I mean, man, how clutch is he? He just comes right back after an energy. How about an injury? And and then it makes it look like he was never gone. It's just so seamless every time that you bring him out there to kick a field goal. And I always say every time I see him, I'm like, you have to look. It's just going through. And having a hamstring injury like that is not an easy thing to come back from as a kicker. That's for sure.
How much of a luxury is it to have a guy like Matt Bryant who just comes out and just does it for over a decade for your team? Most teams can't even rely on a decent kicker to last them through 4 or 5 years. And he's even in the year where he has a couple of misses, it's the same no matter how old he gets. He adjusts his style, he adjusts how he kicks, and even like you said, he comes back from what really could have been a career-ending injury with that hamstring the way it looked. Yeah. Still out here and kicks 5 field goals.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, shout out to Gavin Tavecchio. He did a great job of filling in while Matt Bryant was gone. Which really didn't equal wins, but it still was nice that we did have some, a nice field goal kicker to go in. But all right, we'll close out the Falcons now. We'll head to the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, that sounds so
man, winless West Coast swing. Finally got to come back home this week. First game back home last night, looking good through 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter happened. Yet another loss, 127-119. What was the good and bad of last night's game, Justin?
Well, like you said, the good was the first 3 quarters. They came out, scored efficiently. They were passing the ball efficiently. Everything was going good. They were really spacing the Clippers out, hitting shots, were executing a good offense. And then as soon as the 4th quarter began, Bob Rathbone honestly called it right in the beginning of the 4th quarter, this team does not know how to close a game out and win. And when you have a team like the Clippers, that team is built with greedy, experienced veterans. And I think the Clippers in the 4th quarter, or honestly thought the entire game played how they want to, because how they're styled with their starting unit, they put on their gritty defenders like Pat Beverly and Avery Bradley out there, and then along with Tobias Harris, who averages 21 points a game as well. But then you have your explosive scoring talent, Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, that come off the bench. And it really just sets for a unit that's fresh in the 4th quarter and that's cohesive and can execute well in the 4th quarter. And that's exactly what they did. It was great to see John Collins put up the performance that he did. 18 points in 11 minutes, 2 threes. But Trae Young, 25, 17. That's absurd stat line for a kid this young, and he's only getting better. Even if he struggled shooting in the 4th quarter, which he obviously did, that was still an amazing performance throughout.
We've talked through the previous shows that, we often wondered what he would do with John Collins back with him. And, I have to say I'm impressed so far with him. It just seems like the game moves at a pace that he's comfortable with, and instead of it being slowed down and he's moving so far ahead, it doesn't look like he's turning the ball over as much. So yeah, that was definitely it was nice to see. But what was your good and bad, Derek?
I'm gonna say, I mean, we played great throughout the game, and then like Justin said, the team just can't finish at the end. The good to see was John Collins. I'm glad to have him back. I mean, he's played 2 solid games, and the one against the Clippers. I mean, he just showed that he can be a force anywhere on the court. He was knocking down jumpers, finding his way into the lane, rebounding the basketball, and I mean, he's still fouling a lot. I think he had 5 fouls, and but I mean, he's just shown that he's going to be really good with Trae Young and the rest of the crew. The bad is the shooting. I mean, it seems like we take a lot of ill-advised shots. Trae Young, Taurean Prince, definitely. Another thing with Taurean Prince, he has to pass it to the open man. He has to stop looking off the open man. Like Phil, let's probably talk about that because he was mad the other day. He was talking about it, but I just think the shooting needs to be better, especially from the 3-point line, especially Trae Young. I mean, it's becoming inconsistent. He hasn't really started. He hasn't shot a well 3-point game in a while. I don't remember the last time he has, but I mean, they're still playing well, and it's still a growing process, and I think they'll be all right.
Good or bad, Phil? Or good and bad?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of good. I walked away from last night's game very impressed. I felt good about it. It doesn't feel, honestly, to me, it doesn't feel like we're on an 8-game losing streak. They've only played like 2 or 3 bad games in there. But last night, Trae Young and John Collins, that pairing is going to be great for years and years and years to come. I mean, they look like they've been playing together for a while already. They have a good connection. They have good chemistry. They know each other's spots on the court. Trae Young, honestly, he could have had a 30-20 game last night if he would have made some of the layups and some of these shots would have fell that he passed off. But the bad, Taurean Prince, his decision making is still driving me crazy, and he's in his 3rd year now. I counted about 5 times where he really should have passed the ball, but instead drove it or just took a really ill-advised shot, especially in the 4th quarter. There were times where we had open men on the arc, and he just pulled up early in the shot clock.
DeAndre Bembry was screaming at him at one play.
Good, because I mean, when you're a young team like that, when you get ahead like that, the good team is gonna make a run on you. But you have to keep playing your game. You have to play how you played those first 3 quarters, because those first 3 quarters, they looked as good as they've looked all season pretty much. Also, another thing, they did not exploit mismatches last night. You had Boban, whatever how you say his name, in there for a good 12 minutes, and Len was open in the corner every single time down the court. Boban wasn't coming out the paint, and he only got the ball once. It was literally like about 10 straight possessions, and they only got it to him once. He had about 10 feet of breathing room. You have to exploit those mismatches.
Defense with Taurean Prince as well. There was one play in particular last night. I believe the score was 114 to 110. Clippers ran the ball back. I forgot who made this shot, but I think it was Lou that came from the right wing and drove into the paint. I think Harold drove it kind of rolling as the roll man off the screen. So there were 2 defenders that had already came in to pick up Lou's drive. And then in the corner, on the left side of the corner, Taurean, for whatever reason, came in to try to help in the paint when there was no need for him to, because 2 men were already there. A wall was essentially built on that side of the basket. But he completely dips from his man, and Luo makes that pass almost instantly, and it makes a 3. It's 117 to 110. I almost threw my controller. I was because you have to understand defensive assignments, and if you're coming in when 2 guys are in front of you to help on the side that's like it's coming from the right side, when you're guarding, your man is open in the left corner, your side needs to be on the left corner. You can only take a step in, but only if there's 1 man that's clogging the paint. There were 2 there, and he still came in. That's just not something you can do. That was a huge 3 that the Clippers had. It was almost it was really a dagger, because I don't think the league got under 7 after that.
Yeah, Dougie Fresh 123 is chatting with us on the live YouTube feed. He says longtime Hawk killer Lou Williams happened in the fourth quarter. He also said the Hawks didn't have an answer for Boban Marjanovic in the fourth quarter. But my good or bad, my good is obviously Trae Young. Wow, it was fun to watch yesterday. I mean, I'll take the missed shots, and with going on with youth, but man, he looked as crisp as I think I've seen him all year long as far as a complete game. With the, like you said, 30-20 was very possible. My bad, man, feel I couldn't agree with you more. Taurean Prince is pissing me off. I mean, I'm tired of it. To me, when they picked him up, I thought he had star potential, and he, is seemingly regressing now instead of improving. The same problems that he had last year that he fixed near the end of the second half of the year is all of a sudden he's having them same issues again this year. And, for them to be, to improve as their whole roster, he's got to be, his game has to improve a lot as well. I'm just so disappointed in him this year, the most out of anybody. But you guys are pretty much said everything that I was gonna say. But I'm just gonna give props out to Trae Young, because this is what I want to see when they made that trade for that pick. Because we know what Luka's gonna do. So we want to show that we won that trade, and this is when he shows flashes of brilliance like this. This is what's going to show that we did win this trade. So
I want to say three things, and I'll try to make it quick because three is a lot. First, to our friend in the comment section, yeah, you're right. Hawks killer Lou Will did show up, but this season has just been fourth quarter killer Lou Williams. It's every game he's doing this, and it's remarkable. We all assumed that the Sixth Man of the Trophy award was going to be named after Jamal Crawford one day. It needs to be named after Lou Williams. This is absurd. Secondly, Taurean Prince can soon become expendable. You're coming up on this 2019 draft class. We'll touch up on it a bit later, but it's loaded with wings and small forwards. And honestly, you don't know what's going to happen with Kent Bazemore. He may or may not get traded. But if you look at a guy, say we don't get the number one pick, RJ Barrett, who I think is more of a two guard, goes first overall. You're looking at guys like Cam Reddish and Nasir Little. Guys who are 6'8", bouncy, need to be playing the three.
Yeah.
Now, Travis Slink has shown the willingness to improve when it's available. He did it with Trae. He got rid of Dennis Schroeder. He really isn't a franchise-level player, like a face of the franchise-level player. He went out and got himself a future point guard that is, and we've seen it in Trae. And these guys that are in the top of the 2019 class at the small forward spot are legit. And then don't think twice if you think that Travis Schlenk isn't going to be afraid to pull the trigger and let Taurean Prince either off in the trade or just as a role player after it. Because you get a guy like Reddish or Lil or even Barrett if you decide to put him at the three. That's major improvement. That's
you're actually leading us into the next segue of what we're going to go after with the Hawks here. With it being obvious the Hawks will have a chance at a top 3 draft pick, which Duke guy do you want, Derek?
I definitely want either Zion or RJ first. I mean, I think Zion is definitely going to be the first one to go. But I wouldn't be mad with Barrett. And then later on, if we get that Mavs pick, I would definitely not be bad with Cam either. I mean, they're all great players, and they all bring something different, and they can play on both sides. I mean, they obviously need to improve as anyone, but all of them are great. But don't forget about there's people that will come into that conversation at the end and can sneak into the top 3. So.
Windmill on that Duke game. I kind of just reacted to it. That was sick.
Yeah, that was a crazy dunk.
Oh my grief, that was great.
Which
he just did another one.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Which Duke guy do you want, Phil?
I definitely want Zion. That man is a freak of nature. I mean, it's like they took LeBron. It's like when you do those little upgrade pictures as far as like size and skill and stuff. It's like they had LeBron, then they did upgrade And then there's Zion. I mean, imagine what he's gonna be like when his body actually fills out. How old is he? He can't be more than about 18 right now, right?
Yeah.
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 6'8", 80 with the jump he has. I mean, he can put his head over the rim. That's just ridiculous. And then he can. I mean, he actually has skill too. It's crazy. I really hope if we have the number 1 pick, that's who I want.
Justin, I give you a hard time about who you want to see, but man, so tell me someone good. Tell me who we're really gonna be this year.
You know who it is when I don't like it on draft night. I'm with y'all. Zion is something special. I'd love for Lloyd Pierce to get his hands on him and play him at the 4 with Collins. When you get a guy like this, you can't think too hard about it. Yes, he's 285. Yes, he'll have to get in better shape and get in better conditioning when he gets to the NBA. But that talent, that size, that bounce, that athleticism, the passing ability, the ball handling ability, matching that with Trey would be absolutely ridiculous. My only thing is that you're not playing him at small forward, not that at that size. I think he's just would be so much better fit as a 4, or it wouldn't really matter if he's playing 4 or 5 because he'd just be playing with Collins and it'd be a disgusting pairing. But my top guy in the class is RJ Barrett. It's obviously close. Zion is really special, but RJ has the the highest ceiling to be great. His game is so matured. He's got a lot of great things about him. Just a little bit of knick-knacky 20 things that he needs to tweak up, but tiny things that can be easily improved on if he puts his mind to it. So definitely those 2 guys first. But Cam Reddish people don't understand how much potential this guy has. He has great size at the small forward spot, can shoot really well, plays defense. He's going to be a great starter and probably a high impact immediate player wherever he goes. And I mean, he might end up being like Wendell Carter last year, go to a team at the 6, 7, could grab him with the Mavericks pick. And I mean, you managed to get Zion and Reddish. Who cares about both of them? That's a good thing. Their cohesiveness would only be great, and that'd be 2 instant starters. I feel like for the Hawks. So really, you could get whoever you get out of these 3 guys. They might be the top 3 picks in the draft. They were the top 3 picks in the country. They're all NBA players. So I mean, you can't really.
For me, just for team fit, I kind of would like to see Zion playing with these guys. But I agree with you, Justin. Where I don't think you could go wrong getting either of these 3. I think RJ is probably, to me, watching their games might be the most NBA ready. But each of these guys has unlimited potential. My thing is just enjoy this year with Duke while it lasts, because look how many years it's been since we got to see a freshman caliber team. I talked about it on the radio show on Sunday. The last freshman team that you can even think about would be the Michigan Fab 5, and I think these guys might be better than that team. And that's tough to say because that's probably my all-time favorite college basketball team ever. And I am not a Duke guy at all. I actually prefer North Carolina over Duke, but Duke is fun to watch this year. So, and they got a legitimate chance at running the table and going undefeated. But, a couple of the guys, people in chat are, pretty split. A lot of them like Zion. My wife, Sarah, she says Zion. Tushar says RJ. And then Doug says Zion. So, again, it looks like if we could get any of those guys, people aren't going to be too disappointed at all. So, but it's nice. This might be the best year to have the picks that we have, where this deep of a draft, where we're going to end up with 2 quality guys, that are going to be great fits for this team, and we'll get to play pretty quickly, it seems. So, but let's move into, what are you thankful for when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks, Justin?
Travis Schlenk. Now, there have been times in the past where I think me, along with other Hawks fans, have been critical of the trades he's made. He has gone out. He's done a lot of out there things to get some trades. But I think what you can say about Schlenk and what's so great about what he's building here is that he understands the long-term plan. Now, the Luka trade will be infamous, but here's why I think it was the only decision that Schlenk could make. I don't think it was Schlenk did this to disregard Luka's potential. I think he would have loved Luka, but I think he understood something. Like I mentioned earlier, he understood Dennis Schroeder was not the franchise point guard for the future of this team. He looked at this draft and he saw Luka. Luka is generational talent. We all understood this going in. Well, most of us understood this going in. But you saw something special in Trey. You saw the special passing and the special shooting potential that he has. So, say you stick with Luka. Now you head into the 2019 draft. I would say that if he had picked Luka, then Dennis Schroeder would still be the starting point guard of this team. And if he had still believed that Schroeder wasn't capable of being the long-term starting point guard, there was not going to be a good starting point guard option in this next upcoming draft. There really isn't. Not anyone capable of doing what Trae Young did. And so that's my thing about the trade, the Luka trade. As great as Luka has been, as great as he's going to be, he needed to get the point guard spot locked up. He did. And now he heads into this next class with a lot more open space to do more different things because he now has 2 potential top 10 picks. And because now he has the roster flexibility to pick another big to go with Collins or to pick another small forward to really fill in next to Trey and whoever the eventual franchise or shooting guard is. But right now it appears to be Kevin Huerter.
Mm-hmm.
If he had picked Luka, yes, we have Luka. First off, Luka is going to log jam with Torian to start small forward, unless you put him a 2 guy, which you feasibly could. But now you head in, then you would hypothetically head into that draft needing a long-term starting point guard. That would not be there. I think Schlenk made the 100% right move for this team, and that was the best outcome for the future, for the years to come, in what he's building here. A lot of us didn't. I don't think a lot of us realized that right away. I didn't realize it for a while, and I was critical, like you said, of Trey on draft night.
The thing with Luka and Trey though is that we really needed going into this last draft a face of the franchise type pick. Luka's not going to be to me is going to be like a more a Dirk Nowitzki type player. Obviously, that's easy to compare him to Dirk Nowitzki, but Dirk Nowitzki, he's a great player. Obviously, he's a Hall of Fame. He'll be a Hall of Famer, but he's not really a face out there. Outspoken face of the franchise. And I think that when they made that trade, they were looking for a face of the franchise. That's why I think that deal was made. But you put it really good too, that again, you had to bank on the fact that looking out into the future of this draft, that there aren't any point guards. So you were able to nab your point guard position out with obviously them falling out of favor with Dennis, and so Travis has done a great job. I have no complaints with him whatsoever. But let's go to Derek. What are you thankful for with the Atlanta Hawks?
First, I'd have to say Trae Young. I mean, he's just been great, and he's going to be a great point guard in the league in the future. But a thing that I want to mention, I'm thankful for the chemistry that the team has. It just seems like everyone likes playing together, and they play well together. They have fun out on the court, even when they're losing. So, I mean, that chemistry, it's good to have, and it's good for a rebuilding team.
I've seen this team laugh more than any team that Mike Budenholzer ever had.
Yeah.
I think that's a credit to Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah, he's a part of it too. I mean, you see him joking around with the players all the time.
Absolute perfect coach for this, because it's someone that's been through this, someone that understands coming in what a rebuilding team is part to be, having seen it in Philly, so when they brought him on, I was very happy, because it's not someone that's going to get frustrated easily with losing and start getting out his players. But I don't remember what game I watched where someone dunked, and we were down by like 15, and man, the guys on the bench jumped off the bench and we're going crazy. It was one of the brothers, the center, I can't remember his name now because he doesn't play that often. So, but anyways, what's that?
Lumley?
Yeah.
I remember now.
Yeah. He had that monster putback dunk, and the crowd, the guys on the bench, led by Vince Carter, were all jumping off. And that's a testament to the veterans that they brought in as well to help mentor these young guys. You didn't bring in risky guys, you brought in, a Vince Carter, you brought in,
Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, Jeremy Lin, all high quality character guys that are able to help, mentor these young kids. But Phil, what are you thankful for, man?
Yeah, I'm thankful for the pairing of John Collins and Trae Young and our veteran leaders to hold these guys together because, it got to be rough on the young ones. Some of these young people, they never have ever been probably even close to 500 in their career. If you think about it, if you made it to the NBA, that means you were killing it in high school. So you probably never lost a game in high school, really.
Yep.
You killed it in college, most of these guys. And now you get to the NBA and you're the worst team in the league. It has to be tough on them mentally. But you got guys like Vince Carter and Jeremy Lin to show them the road pretty much because they've been along. They've seen everything there is to see. Vince Carter probably done seen more than Coach Pierce, honestly. Yeah. So it's good for the locker room, and that's why you bring those kind of guys. That's why you keep the guys like Baze around. That's that's really invaluable. That's really immeasurable because these guys are humans too, and they do have feelings and stuff. That's why I get mad when people say, "No, we need to lose every game. What are we doing?" Like, no, you gotta win some of them. Especially if you're in the game, you need them to try to win. That's more valuable than one more loss, because especially with the way the lottery is set up now, who knows what can happen with the odds set up the way they are now. You could drop far, or you could be the 10th team and end up winning the lottery. So definitely thankful. We have a good foundation. It's not like we're going to be middling in the basement for a while. No, we're not. We're not Orlando. We're not Minnesota. It's not going to take 14 years. We're going to be back in this, and we're going to be back in this very soon.
What's great about it is, I put everything together that you all said because I'm thankful for the future. We know that we're not winning this year. We know we're probably not winning next year, but we're set up with a great point guard now. We've got picks in a deep draft to make us, to even deeper and younger. And, with the league going to what seems to be a run and gun style offense, the more young guys you can bring in. I'm just so excited. I agree that we have the right coach. It looks like the ownership group and general manager are all in sync with each other. And so I really, really think that just like the Braves, we got to endure the rough years for a few years. But then, when these guys start to get it all together, the possibilities are endless on this roster. And, I was the first one to say, out of pretty much, our little group here to say blow it up, because I'm not content with, I wasn't content with second round, third round in the playoffs. I want a championship. And that, the guys that we have were never going to bring us a championship. They were going to get us to the second round. They were going to get us to the first round, but I'm done with that. I want a championship here in Atlanta. And so, and our best chance to do that was to blow it up, start all over again, and, bring in youth that can create themselves as stars so that we don't feel like we have to bring in the star. We'll have the homegrown star. So anyone that we can trade for and bring in here, will just be an added bonus. Someone in chat mentioned that, what would we think about like a Beal or Wall getting traded here? And I don't think it's time for that yet. Brandon Beal's not going to bring us anything yet. He'd be great. He'd be great as, again, as a mentor to Trae, but he's not bringing us, anything that would, but maybe 7 or 8 more wins, if that. And really this year, I don't want 7 or 8 more wins. And I definitely don't want John Wall. If he's screaming at his coach already, we're going to address that a little bit later on. But, if he's screaming at his coach already, I don't want that kind of person in our locker room with a bunch of young guys like this. And Lloyd Pierce had never put up with this. I don't know if, you guys have seen Lloyd Pierce's coaching style, but you're not putting up with that.
Not have any of it. Lloyd is a G. He would not have any of that.
No, man. So yeah, I just don't think that we don't need that big splash trade right now. I'd like to actually see if we do make any kind of moves, it gives us even more draft, more draft picks, especially this year. Again, there's just so much
Cleveland pick.
Picks you have, the better. What's that?
We sure ain't getting that Cleveland pick.
Oh no. Nope.
Yeah, definitely not getting that Cleveland pick. They know better. Who I read today that who was it? Or J.R. Smith saying that he came out and said they are tanking on purpose.
Yeah, he's done playing. He's not playing with them no more.
Not even playing there anymore. So he gets traded.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We could bring JR in.
Yeah. Hard to believe he's such a good guy. So, all right. Well, we need to move on a little bit now because we got to talk about what an awesome week it was for local college football teams. We're actually going to start with an FCS action this week because, the two of us sitting here, Mr. Phil and I, he convinced me to switch over from the Georgia game right at overtime. And what a game it was between Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State, 60-52 in 5 overtimes. Phil, what made this the local college game of the week?
Oh, man. I mean, what a fantastic matchup. Now, for those who don't know, KSU came into the game ranked number 2. I believe Jacksonville State was number 7, somewhere around there. And to be honest, KSU came out there and was getting their butts kicked in the first half. It was 14-0. We couldn't do anything. Also, for those who don't know, KSU runs the triple option just like Georgia Tech. We couldn't get past our line of scrimmage. We couldn't stop them. We couldn't get anything going. But the switch flipped in the second half, and we came back. We got some lucky call. I'd say we got some lucky breaks from the ref. But we took it to overtime. We took it to second overtime, third overtime, fourth overtime, fifth overtime, and our defense finally got it done. Yeah, that's funny to say. Defense got it done in a 60-52 game that lasted almost 5 hours. But they got it done, and now they're 10-1. The only loss coming to FBS Georgia State in a game that they actually dominated and should have won.
Yeah, it was close. It was very close. For me, there's nothing more exciting than college overtime. I just love put the ball in the 25, let's go, and that's I so wish the NFL would adopt that type of overtime rule. What impressed me, in that game the most was, that last play that ended the game was actually a reception by Jacksonville State that was headed for a touchdown. Oh, yeah. He rips that ball right out of his hands. And, when you're in the 6th overtime, you're dead tired. That is a huge, huge play to make. So, that was just, to me, like I said, overtime is so exciting. So walk us through the FCS playoffs, man. What seed is Kennesaw State and who might they play, Phil?
KSU ended up with the 4th seed. Our conference kind of really screwed us over because we played in probably one of the weakest conferences. We outscored our opponents outside of the Georgia State game. I think it was like 450-45. It's just some absurd number. We're playing a really weak conference, and we just absolutely destroyed it. So I think with that also, that was another thing that kind of got us off to a slow start against Jacksonville. But on Saturday, December 1st, we'll take on the winner of either Wofford or Elon. So that will be out in Kennesaw. If you're looking for something to do on December 1st, hey, come on, check it out. We got a good atmosphere out there. It's a fun time. So
hit up Phil _ATL Phil, and he'll hook you up with those tickets for the Kennesaw State game, right?
Yeah. I'll see what I can do.
All right, so let's move on to Georgia. Georgia, you massacred UMass 66-27. Derek, who gets the game ball in a blowout like this?
Y'all be nice to my home state now.
I'm gonna go with Justin Fields. I mean, he got a chance to show what he could do. He got to throw the ball, and I mean that pass to Hardman was amazing. I mean,
So dirty.
That was awesome. I agree with you.
And,
Who's getting your game ball, Justin?
It's hard to pick against the game ball. Fields won SEC Freshman of the Week, but you're looking at Tyler Simmons and James Cook both scoring 2 touchdowns. Hard to pick against the game ball. Fromm didn't have an incompletion. Fields and Swift and Holyfield both doing the work on the ground too. That was the best offensive performance I've seen under the Jim Chaney era. My favorite part of the game is we've been running the end around so well off here. Like most of the time it's going for touchdowns, and I really can't remember a time where it went for a loss. And in that game, they just ran it like 9 times throughout the game and get like huge, massive games every single time. Like it's impossible to stop for some reason. It was just so fun to watch. It's so fun seeing all those guys, like especially a lot of the true freshmen that are highlighting those the last recruiting class that was ranked #1 in the country were balling out. Guys like Otis Reese, Adam Amison, Trey Blunt, a few other guys I can't think of right now. It was nice to see those guys get some reps and ball out. So if I had to give one guy to get the game ball to, it probably would be Justin Fields, just because he did get the accolade. But what a great performance overall.
Yeah, it's the pass from Justin Fields. I mean, that was 40 yards in the air with nothing. I mean, like no effort whatsoever. So if Jake Fromm struggles in this Tech game coming up, obviously the rivalry game next week with Georgia Tech in Georgia. If Jake Fromm struggles in that game, did you see enough from Justin Fields last week to be confident in his ability to lead the team, Justin?
The problem is I didn't see enough in the Auburn game when he got a little bit of increased reps to really say yes. As good as he looked, and I don't want to be the guy to say it was just UMass, but inevitably it was just UMass. Yeah, we are building this up. Like, even if Fromm struggles in the Tech game, do you trust throwing Fields out there against Alabama? I can't say that I am. Fromm was probably the best offensive player from the national championship last season. He goes in, he diced them up a decent bit last year, and he goes in like you can. That is important in a game like that. When this is the SEC championship game is the season. I don't think you can throw Fields out there, even if he had a good game against a really good game against Tech. It's I think he has a bit of ways more to go before he really understands like the way to make reads, the way to go all those and like really command an offense.
Yeah.
For this season, for that game against Alabama, I think it has to be Fromm because he's done it before. Even if he does struggle, the good thing about what we saw from Fields is he was poised. His accuracy, the combination, I should say, of accuracy and the velocity, the speed of how he throws the ball was really impressive on some of those throws he made against UMass. And I think that it at least gives me a little bit of confidence to where if Fromm were to struggle in the SEC championship game, where you could at least be comfortable with doing the Tua, with putting him in certain plays in certain moments and feeling comfortable that he might be able to make a great play in the crucial moment. So I don't think you take Fromm out completely, but the leash gets tightened the more he struggles. And I think at this point, you got to be comfortable with at least giving him reps in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
What do you think, Derek? Did you see enough from him, or?
I mean, I saw enough from him when I saw his highlights in high school. I mean, the dude is just a natural talent. I mean, it's just ridiculous of what he can do on the football field at the quarterback position. But like Justin said, you don't just want to throw him out there, but I do think he needs to be used. He needs to be used way more than what he is. I mean, you can't just put him out there and just make him run it. But I mean, I think we need to let him free and let him throw the ball sometimes because I mean, teams won't expect it, and it will bring another look of the offense. And in the red zone, I think we do need to use him a lot more too. So I mean, like Justin said, you don't want to throw him out there, but I definitely think he needs to be used more.
You see, you can throw a deep ball. That can be something to use.
Exactly.
We keep talking about that throw is just beautiful, especially when
sure.
it's Fromm throws a lot of air underneath his deep balls. They have a lot of hang time. The one Fields threw
sure makes you excited to see him next year. That's for sure.
Jesus, I'm ready to start him next year. That kid is special.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're gonna move on here. It's time to hit into some buy or sell with you guys now. You know, to end the night off with a little something we do. So,
hey Bob.
Oh, what?
We're gonna talk a little bit about this Georgia Tech, Georgia game, or
well, I mean, yeah, we can.
You want to let Phil hit on the Georgia Tech side? Let's hear Phil's insight on that.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's been playing a lot better lately. I think this is going to be a lot closer game than many people are expecting. You know, Georgia, they think it's going to be a cakewalk. You know, Georgia thinks everything's going to be a cakewalk. But Georgia's going to have to come play Saturday. I'm not saying Tech's going to win, but Georgia got to come play. Tech has really been clicking the last month. So I think it's going to be somewhere around 31-24 UGA.
Think about the thing. If Georgia has a weakness, it's rush defense. That's all me say. That's how LSU beat them, and that's what makes this Georgia Tech game scary. They play some defense too. The outside rush game is really going to be see how the corners for Georgia, how Baker and Tyson Campbell are going to be able to play those triple options when the pitch gets made from the quarterback to the edge running back who's receiving the pitch. Because as good a cover guys they are, I don't think they've really been tested in terms of just like outside running. Because a lot of SEC teams kind of like zone in, like run a lot of like inside zone runs. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. The outside linebackers have to step up too, as well as the safeties. But our Richard O'Connell is probably one of the best tackling safeties in the SEC, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. But yeah, I think that's definitely a closer, should be a better game than I think a lot of people give him credit for. But even if the score may not reflect it in the end.
You know, Tech's biggest thing is shooting themselves in the foot. If they can not turn the ball over, they've been a pretty good team this year. I mean, it's the games that they've lost, they've had a horrible plus minus on turnovers. So, if they can manage to not shoot themselves in the foot, I've covered Georgia Tech enough this year to know that, they have the right quarterback leading them in the triple option this year. So if you're not prepared for them, they can run the score up on you quickly too. And you pointed out that the defense has played well. The games that they've won, they've actually gotten a lot of turnovers as well, So I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people are saying. I don't think that Georgia Tech's going to pull it off, but I'm going to say like 30-20 is my prediction.
I like that. Isaiah, or what the quarterback's name? Isaiah Oliver is his name?
Yeah, they got Oliver and Marshall. Yeah,
that Oliver kid got some drip. I like him a lot. He's down the road.
Yeah, they have a lot of underrated players too. Searcy, he's a good complement piece to those two as well. This would be his last year. I believe he's a senior, but he's been a fantastic for Georgia Tech as well. But I'm telling you, they're not gonna Georgia better not take Tech lightly. We've seen what happens when you take Tech lightly, especially to Georgia at home. So, Phil, you got a score prediction?
I'm gonna go 30-20. 30-25.
I agree with you, man. I think it's gonna be closer than people think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again, these rivalry games they tend to scare me a lot. So, but okay, let's go ahead and run into buy or sell now that we satisfied Ryan over there on YouTube, Mr. Tech himself. So I told him we were banning Tech Chat today. So. But let's get into with buy or sells more, where we get into more of our national news type stuff, throwing a little bit of everything. Let's start with the Washington Wizards. We, actually touched on this a little bit earlier. Washington Wizards John Wall was fined for berating coach Scott Brooks at a recent practice. Buy or sell John Wall getting traded from Washington, Derek?
It needs to happen. but I don't know who's going to take him, so I'm going to have to sell. That team is just a mess. I mean, a mediocre team that has never took the next step for I don't know how many years, and then Scott Brooks in the mix. I mean, I just don't like Scott Brooks as an NBA coach, and I don't think he should be hired. And I mean, that team's just a mess, and I'm glad we are not them.
Well, how many years was Marcin Gortat their third best player? I mean, that tells you something right there. When Gortat's your third best player, that says a lot. So, you buying or selling, Justin?
I sell it because I think he's the hardest player in that team to trade. Bradley Beal and Otto Porter are arguably more valuable players because of their perimeter games and their capability of playing defense, and they are bet on like much cheaper contracts than Wall is. Wall is closing in on the next list of games who are becoming outdated because after his injuries, after the surgeries he had, he hasn't put in as much effort on defense. He doesn't put in effort off ball. And like it's not like the times when he was the best volume passer in the NBA and he was playing good defense. It's not like that anymore. And he's due to make what, 47 million in the prime years of that contract he's got. It's difficult. That's a difficult trade to pull off. There are teams that can afford it, but it's not going to be easy to pull off. So I'd sell it because they're likely going to ship. If they do decide to ship out Beal and Porter, that's going to be a lot easier for them to do.
I agree with that as well. Buy or sell, Phil?
I'm a buy. Some team will get desperate and do it at the deadline. It'll be a team that thinks they can contend for a championship, even though they probably can't. You know, we see it every year. Some team will definitely get desperate.
Actually,
I'm buying with the caveat because I think that he's going to get traded to the Houston Rockets, and I think that it's going to involve Carmelo Anthony at some point, and then they'll mix in just getting Carmelo Anthony with a buyout, and somehow make that trade happen. I don't know if it's possible with salary or anything like that, but I agree with Phil where someone is going to take a chance on John Wall. Even with his defensive liability, he can still ball. I mean, he still has games where he has star potential. And with his name, people want to play with him. But man, the Washington Wizards are just a mess, man. Derek hit it spot on. Scott Brooks is terrible. I mean,
it's terrible in Oklahoma.
It's
I'm gonna agree with you there because But he, look at how much talent he had there in Oklahoma City. He can never put together there. So what makes you think it's going to happen with the really no talent Washington Wizards? So, but sticking with Washington sports, Washington Redskins, after losing Alex Smith to a gruesome injury. You guys all see the injury?
I refused to watch it.
The hit.
There was a report that said that the bone broke the skin. I shivered. It was.
Since then, they have decided that the answers to their problem are to turn to journeyman quarterback Mark Sanchez for quarterback depth. My question to you is, buy or sell the Redskins choosing Mark Sanchez over Colin Kaepernick? Phil?
Sell. And I could go on for about 30 minutes, but I'm not going to, so I'll just leave it
at that. Buy or sell, Derek?
Yeah, I'm going to sell. I mean, at this point, you can just tell that Kaepernick probably most likely will not be getting a job in NFL ever again, which is unfortunate. And that's all I'm going to speak on that topic.
Justin, buy or sell, man?
Sell. For one, they're starting Colt McCoy. But you're also talking about one of the most tone-deaf franchises in pro sports because of the fact that their name and their logo does a lot more damage than their organization will ever realize. And they've done absolutely nothing to fix that at all. And they haven't even acknowledged it as an actual problem. And you expect that a franchise like that to make a move like to bring in Kaepernick. That's bad.
Yeah, I'm actually going to sell as well. Being that I'm a huge Seahawks fan, I've seen Colin Kaepernick many, many, many times. Not a fan of his at all. But come on, man, you're not better. That your option is Mark Sanchez, and you can't call Colin Kaepernick. The guy's got talent. To me, there's 3 people ever that I never come out and say that are blackballed from their sport. Allen Iverson was blackballed, I think. Stephon Marbury was blackballed, and Colin Kaepernick is been blackballed from the NFL. If this doesn't show this, so I'm definitely pulling for him in his lawsuit because this is just blatantly obvious and it's getting old now. I mean, come on. Some of these guys that have quarterback jobs in the NFL, you can honestly sit there and say they're better than Colin Kaepernick. Get real. I mean, it's just dumb. It's, at least the Panthers were smart enough to realize, Eric Reed shouldn't be on that list as well. But I think if the Panthers hadn't picked up Reed, he'd be in the same boat. And it's just dumb that he's being blackballed over something as stupid as this. So, but I know there's people out there that'll disagree with me, but again, we're basing this on talent, not on his actions. And the talents, as someone that has seen Kaepernick play many, many times, he's got a heck of a lot more talent than these guys that are being thrown out right now. I mean, that's for sure. So, but let's move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. This is kind of breaking today. Markelle Fultz has announced through his agent and a lawyer that he is stepping away from the 76ers to have his shoulder examined. And he's taking his sweet old time to get that thing examined, and probably not going to be till Monday at the earliest. So buy or sell, Derek, the Philadelphia Sixers management of this injury?
That's it. I guess I would have to sell, but I don't. I mean, I just don't understand what is actually going on. I mean, there really has been no explanation. I mean, is his shoulder still messed up? I guess, we'll find that out when he goes and evaluates it again. But, I mean, I don't understand what's going on with that situation. And I know, them as a team might not even know. I mean, some of the shots that he takes, at the free throw line, it's just ridiculous. I just don't understand what's going on.
Did it seem odd to you at all, Derek, that this happened basically the day after he was quote unquote benched because people are playing better than him? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Yeah, probably. They've realized that they're going to need to step away from him for a while and let him get his confidence back. It seems like he's holding the team back just a little bit. Weren't they starting him at one point of the season?
They were starting him
basically until they got Butler.
Okay, yeah. So, he definitely did need to start, but they had an agenda behind it of what they wanted to do to try to throw him in there and play with that. But, I don't know. It's just a weird situation.
Buy or sell the management of the injury by the 76ers, Justin?
I obviously sell it. I just want to know what Jimmy Butler managed to do in his 10 days there that made Markelle say, I'm not saying that it is something that happened, but wouldn't it be funny if it was? But, yeah, as Derek said, it's just such a strange situation. Like you said, Bob, I watched just about every game he played in college. You watched just about every game he played in college. This kid was so special coming out of Washington. It is just depressing what has happened to him. Like, to lose out on such a potentially great talent like that. And it's just been so odd. First of all, this news is really odd because it comes from his attorney. Mm-hmm. And it comes shortly after he had the dispute with Drew Hanlon, the shooting coach they worked with over the summer. It's just so many things that were like, even when you just go back to when you could first see like the change of his jumper, like why was this not being like announced like a typical injury? Why was this not like, why were he not giving like procedures, updates? We didn't get an update about what his injury was for a while when he wasn't playing. It's out, and like he's seeing a shoulder specialist now. Had he not seen a shoulder specialist beforehand? If not, why was he not seeing a shoulder specialist beforehand? That was clearly the problem. He couldn't get the weight or the arc of his shoulder to complete his jump shot. That's what happened. Like you moved to the shore that push shot kind of stroke because you don't have enough strength in that shoulder area to get your release right. It's just been so odd. It's sad to see, but all you can really hope for is that he can actually get this problem figured out, get the surgery or whatever. We forget Joel Embiid missed almost 3 full seasons. We almost forget about that now that he's a legitimate top 10 player and an MVP candidate. it's a
Yeah. All right. So buy or sell, Phil. What are you thinking when it comes to
has to miss a year. Or Tyrus isn't playing this year. I mean,
uh,
it's okay to sell to be healthy.
yeah. Are you buying or selling, Phil? The management of the 76ers managing this injury?
I definitely have to sell. Something fishy is going on in Philadelphia. Like you mentioned, just the pattern that of unexplained injuries almost. Something
Mhm.
something needs to be investigated or something, and I think that's where this is obviously heading at this point. But really, I mean, we really kind of left everyone out in the dark through this whole situation, and it's really, you feel bad for the guy because his confidence is 100% shaken, and I don't know if he'll ever. Honestly, I really don't think he'll get it together. Unfortunately, and that you never want to see that happen to a number one pick.
Yeah, I'm selling 1000% because like Justin said, I've seen every game that he played in college. I know what he's capable of. I know his shot, and clearly something is not right with the shoulder. Because he's trying workarounds and stuff like that. What really concerns me over the situation is getting the lawyer involved. You're only getting a lawyer involved if there's going to be a lawsuit. I do have a source that I talked to, and he's heard rumblings that there may be something seriously wrong in the shoulder again, and that they possibly may have to fracture it to be able to set it back with that capsule where he's had with the issues up in a ball capsule up in his shoulder. And to essentially reset that ball capsule, you would have to fracture the shoulder to be able to set that back in. Obviously I'm not a trainer. I don't know, again, this is, someone I'm comfortable enough saying as a source, but but yeah, I'm definitely selling. I'm curious to know what's going on, but it could be a confidence factor again. And it is fishy that it came after a game where he played 7 minutes in. So I'm just not sure, so we'll see. But all right, let's move to something a little more, lighter, because it is the Thanksgiving weekend holiday. So let's do a little bit of like Thanksgiving-y buy or sell here. We'll kind of go through from the beginning of Thanksgiving to the end of Thanksgiving. We'll start with the official start to Thanksgiving by many people is considered to be the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Buy or sell the Macy's Parade, Justin?
I don't know what that is.
You've never been to it. I've never been to it. Parade? Come on, man.
When I was a kid, Thanksgiving was just when you got to my grandpa's house and you're just talking to him, and then Thanksgiving ended when you were done eating and you went home, and you just chilled the rest of the day.
I apologize for the new guy on our show. Are you buying or selling, Phil?
I definitely, I used to always catch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade until I started sleeping until it was over because in school and everything. You sleep whenever you can.
Derek, buyers sell the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I'm not as bad as Justin. I know what it is, but will I be tuning in or do I tune in? No, so I'm going to have to sell.
I'm going to sell as well. When I was a kid, it was cool because you always got to see like the Spider-Man balloon and stuff like that. All your comic book characters and stuff like that. And that was always like I can always remember as a kid it being like the first time you got to see Santa Claus was in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade that kind of ushered in the Christmas season. So, but now that I'm as an adult, sleep is what I'm looking for, not to watch a parade because it usually starts at like 8 in the morning. So. But yeah, so I'm definitely selling that as well. Yeah. All right. A lot of people that I know have yams at their family Thanksgiving with the marshmallow topping. Buy or sell yams, Phil?
Yeah, I'm definitely selling yams.
Oh my gosh.
Justin, are you buying or selling yams?
Only yams I recognize is whatever Kendrick was talking about on our right. There's a lot of people I know they always talk about we'll get like a bite of mac and cheese and a bite of yams and eat it together. And I'm never gonna try it because I like my mac and cheese as is, but ain't for me. So I sell it.
Buy or sell yams, Derek?
Man, y'all are messed up. Y'all just don't know it. I'm buying all the way. That's like one of
Are
the
you
top.
are you in with the
Top
yams and mac
five.
and cheese
That's
mixture?
like top five.
Are you in with the
Oh.
yam and mac and cheese mixture?
No, I'm good on that. I'm good.
See, well, like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's taking it too far. I'm cool with it.
I'm going to go into chat here real quick because I got to see if chat's saying anything about this because I'm 1 bazillion% saying that we need to sell on the yams. I can't stand sweet potatoes, and I can't stand the taste of yams. It's just nasty. But we talked about on the radio show that I'm just not a big Thanksgiving guy to begin with. I'm not a big turkey fan, and I'm really picky when it comes to Thanksgiving food. But yams is probably on the list with cranberries and things that I'll never eat. So I'm definitely selling that. So
y'all are all disgraceful.
Yeah. All right, let's go to turkey time here. Turkey has been scientifically proven to cause you to be tired. Buy or sell taking a nap in between football games, Derek?
I'm gonna say I'm not a big nap guy, so I'm gonna be there chilling. You already know.
I penciled you in as a definite napper. I don't know why.
I'm not. Nah.
He has that like sleepy look. Yeah.
Justin, are you a napper? Buy or sell during the football game naps?
Hopefully, I sleep through the Falcons game.
I could get behind that one. I can get behind that.
I took a nap today. It was nice. It was when you get them. But yeah, I do get that though. Turkey gets you tired. I don't know what it is. I guess
we're sorry that we had to keep you up past your 9 p.m. bedtime to hang out with us tonight. that you had to take a nap. Buy or selling that football game nap?
Hey, it don't have to be football game. I'll buy a nap anytime I can get a nap.
I'm actually gonna buy the naps. Other than the Falcons and the Saints, I'm looking forward to. Not really caring too much about the Cowboys and the Redskins. So I think that game can be boring, especially with Colt, McCoy being the starting quarterback for the Redskins now. So I'm not looking forward to that game. I don't remember what was the third game. Do you guys know?
Detroit and who's Detroit playing?
Detroit and
was it the Ravens?
I hope not.
I can't remember who. No,
I'll have it in a second.
Let's see if I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, I can't remember who they're playing. Tushar says, he says no nap. He's got to watch all that football. I mean,
they play the Bears. Okay, that might actually be
good. That's a game that they're going to need the Bears to lose, by the way. So they're going to, that slim chance that they have anyways. So, but yeah, so, there's nothing really exciting. Of course, like I said, I'm sure that one of us will be tweeting that Falcons game. So we'll definitely all be watching that. So, but let's move on to Black Friday shopping. Black Friday shopping is all the craze after the dinner and dessert is done. Buy or sell Black Friday shopping, Phil?
Absolutely selling. I hate crowds. I absolutely hate crowds. The only crowds I can be in is a sports crowd because it's organized. Everybody have their place. If there's a lot of people somewhere and like just anything unorganized, I can't do it. Nah, I feel like something's gonna happen. I don't want to do it. I'll buy my stuff online. I bought me a nice new TV last weekend because you know what? Nah, I'm not. I'll waste a little bit of money to not have to deal with the chaos.
Heck yeah. Buy or sell, Derek?
I'm gonna go ahead and buy because I'll always go, but then I'm broke, so I never buy anything, which is I don't know. So I don't know why I waste my time. So yeah.
You're trying to get your girl that cheap Christmas present. I know how it is.
Yeah, sometimes.
Buy or sell, Justin?
Black Friday shopping was the wave when it was just like the stores would open at like 4 a.m. Friday morning, and you had to it was only for the strong. You had to just plan out your morning, wake up early, or pull an all-nighter like I used to, and just go hit the mall and just get what you need. It was fun back then. Now there's new wave of these stores starting their deals at 7 p.m. Thursday night. Like, it ain't Black Friday. You're on Thursday. Like, it's stupid. Yeah. Like, you appeal to the masses, and now the crowds get too ridiculous, and now nobody wants to shop. I mean, I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna go at like 4 or 5 a.m. hit the outlet to my friend and do it how we always do. But none of this nonsense about like waiting out by Best Buy for like 10 hours just to kill some people. Like, no, that ain't it, Chief.
You know, I'm actually selling this like Phil. Man, I can't stand crowds. I just hate them. I can't even go to Walmart on the weekends. It's just that to me is unorganized shopping. So, you know, I can't do it. To me, I'm a big tech junkie. So I really like Cyber Monday better than, you know, I like Black Friday now. You know, whatever I can sit on my butt and buy online is what I'm looking for. But yeah, I'm definitely selling that 100% as well. But let's end with a lot of people putting up their Christmas trees the day after Thanksgiving. Buy or sell putting up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving, Justin?
People are psychopaths. You gotta wait. People be putting up Christmas decorations in like late October. Come on, man. Wait till December. Like, why are you trying to celebrate this early? It's no point. It's like, why did we start? Like, that was another thing that we used to just do when I was a kid. Me, my mom, like one of my aunts would drive us around. Me and my cousins just load up in the car, and like the white rich neighborhoods would always have like be decked in these like insane Christmas decorations outside, and it was like it wouldn't have like they wouldn't get like that until like the week before Christmas or whatever. So it'd just be a thing. You drive around, look at all the lights, just be like, oh wow, this look nice. Now it's just like I drive past it every day because people be doing it in November after Thanksgiving. It's just like, why is it a race? Why are you this eager to get here? Like, what is causing you to be this obsessed with the feel? Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Phil, you buying or selling putting up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving?
Day after? Oh no, I bet that thing's supposed to go up November 1st. Holiday season start November 1st. Ain't no better season than holiday season. If I wasn't in the process of moving just now, getting settled, I still got boxes everywhere. I gotta find my Christmas tree because it's about 3 weeks late right now.
Derek, you buying or selling putting up that tree the day after Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy. I'm agree. I'm right there with Phil. It's the best time of the year.
I'm not saying it's not, but wait till it's December.
No, you gotta make it early, make it last long.
Time you put it up, it's time to put it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Justin, you're the odd man out here, man. I'm buying as well. Throw on them Mariah Carey holiday tunes on the iPhone and putting up that tree and getting it ready. You know, we're not going to do it this year because we have cats that will tear up that Christmas tree, so we got to get them all situated before we can put up a Christmas tree. But usually, you know, I'm a big fan of, you know, when I grew up, we were always putting up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving, and my mom and dad, they still do it now. So, you know, I definitely 100% buy on this one. So, but let's go ahead and throw some ending shout outs for the night. Phil, who are you going to shout out, man?
Shout out everybody listening, everybody interacting in the chat, you know, everybody out there grinding. It's definitely grind season. Anybody who's in school right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's about the time to put it in maximum overdrive, in the words of Plankton.
Well, that's about to be bad.
Derek, who you shouting out, man?
Just everybody watching, man. We appreciate the support, and hopefully it continues and we continue to grow.
Spread the word, everybody. Spread the word.
Yeah. The new guy, Justin, man. Thanks for joining us today, by the way. Who you shouting out?
I want to shout out the ATL Sports headquarters crew. I joined y'all because I think we're building something here. I was at YouTube. I think what we're doing is great, and I've wanted to get on. I'm glad I've been on for this episode. All the guys that are putting in work here, a lot of us are putting in a good amount of work. Gotta say, like, we're building something here, and it's gonna be coming up soon. I feel like.
You know, I'm gonna shout out the listeners as well. You know, we can't do this without you guys. You know, the views, the suggestions, coming into the chat. You know, right now we're building this, and so you know any kind of feedback that you can give us on things you want to see. We want to do this for you. That's why we live by the slogan. We do this for the fans because we are fans as well. And so we want to talk about the things that you want to talk about, even if I do skip over Georgia Tech. That's why I got Derek at the end over here to keep me on track with who we're supposed to be talking about. But
I mean, I would love to skip over Georgia Tech myself. Yeah. I love it.
But you know, and then I also want to shout out friends and family. You know, this is the time for friends and family. You know, enjoy your Thanksgiving and you know the holidays coming up, and you know just spending that time with family. Enjoy it. So, but that's going to end it for tonight. And thanks for listening to the ATL Sports HQ live show. And we will see you guys next week.